Alright, I wanted to shoot a quick video, show you what I'm working on today. Working on wiring up the car finally. It's a LS2 that has been completely rebuilt with a forged crank, forged pistons, connecting rods, all that. But what we're working on today is the valve covers. As you can see on this side, I've already stationed the coil packs up and forward to clear the wiper motor. And also, if you look back there, you can see the holes for the heater core, which sit right on top of the valve covers, but we're going to fix that later with some silicone hose. So this side's done for a prime example of what's going to be done today. The valve covers are hard ice covers, obviously to cover the rockers. This side doesn't have a clearance issue, but OCD requires me to make the other side look the same. So we've got this one over here on the bench now. This is our coil pack retainer. As you can see, it doesn't fit on the mounts. These mounting trunnions here are designed for a stock coil placement where they're laid over on the side. So what I'm going to be doing is taking the air saw and cutting off these 4, even though I only need 3 of them, because this one's going to stay in place. We'll go ahead and cut them off just to make everything nice, clean, neat, and even. So I'm going to get them knocked off, and then I'll come back and show you what we do in mock-up. Okay, and through the magic of video, we have cut off all those little trunnions. Now we'll go on ahead and get everything set up to mock-up. I'll get everything cleaned up. I've got the trunnions cooling down in the garage fridge, so I can actually handle them. And then we'll get them cleared up so we can mock up our mount. It goes into location right about there. I can just get the bolt for the center of the valve cover just to clear the mount on the other side. So I'm going to have to check it on this one too, because it looks even closer over here. But we'll look and see. If I've got to, I can wallow out that hole a little bit and slide that whole mount over. I really don't want to take that bracket off if I don't have to. So we'll get all this knocked down and cleaned up. Obviously it's cut on the quick and dirty, but we'll get to it. Okay, quick update. I ended up having to cut off all 5 of the studs because they're a universal mount. So where this stud here was in the back on the passenger side, obviously on the driver's side it's in the front, which was no bueno. So I ended up cutting them all off. Got everything set up. Now I've got it mocked up. I guess the nice thing here is, since everything's cut off, I can actually take and slide this just a hair forward from the one on the passenger side. So I've got good clearance on all my valve cover bolts. So we'll kind of get that finessed to match up with everything there. And then I'll go on ahead and scribe marks, clean everything up, and then tack it in place with the TIG welder, and then run a quick bead around them to get them mounted. As you can see on this side, I couldn't really move it any farther forward anyway because we have the oil fill cap here. And yes, there is clearance. It clears just barely. So the valve cover bolt had to suffer in that fashion. It's down there somewhere. But it's a pain to get it off, but you know, hopefully the valve covers aren't coming off too often. All right, I'll go on ahead and get the TIG welder fired up, and we'll get busy. Okay, well now we've got this thing welded up. The welds didn't lay out quite how I wanted them to, but I don't know if this aluminum is dirty or if I didn't quite grind through the anodized coating. But it kind of came out a little funky, but you know what? It's kind of a proof of concept thing. It's tacked in there. It's certainly not going to go anywhere. All it's holding is, 3 pounds of coil on top of the valve cover, so it'll do what it needs to do. I'm going to go on ahead and get the gasket put back in there and go ahead and get them slapped on the engine. Okay, so now we've got the valve cover back on. We've got the coil packs on it. So side A and side B look the same. It'll work out well too. It gives me a little more room for the brake booster, and to kind of get my hands back there and work on fuel lines and stuff like that without having to take the whole coil pack off out of the way. So that's it. Up next is more wiring.